Can you?
And why that many? Because I had one for each printer. And I'm not going to tell my work that I do because, well, um, my laptop that I do my work on is in a docking station up under my desk, and if and they haven't issued me a camera, and if they're not going to issue me a camera, I am not going to get on video chat. Oh, I'm sorry, my laptop's in a docking station, so I can use the obstructed working copy. What? All right, obstructed working copy. Seriously, dude?
What's that?
When I was doing the update, the Jubilee Git branch's release branch is just showing as obstructed, which means I have to go in and clean up on my local repository and see what the issue is.
Yeah.
Break write locks, clean up working copy status. There we go.
Are you
And
using SVN with the Git like how? So are you just using it to keep your own local stuff or what?
so I have a local copy of the repository that I
Okay.
update when but I have a working copy that I've exported, and it's in a different location on my drive. So
Uh,
what I do is I if I want to see what the current copy is, I'll go look at the updated repository. But for what I am working on, I have it set. Does that
why
make
not
sense?
just use? Yeah, but why not just use Git?
Um, because I want my snap in time. And why am I using Git, not using Git instead of SVN?
Yeah.
Because I have other SVN repositories that I'm already working with,
Ah.
and I don't want to
I just
port those.
I I I abandoned SVN about 8 years ago now.
Yeah, well,
Um.
they still have old repositories that are not mine, but they're I do still
Yeah.
contribute to, and they haven't switched to Git. And
The
while Git
reason
handle SVN, I don't know how to use it.
it so here's the thing: is somebody who was like, and it's really funny. I used to be like a master of SVN, right? Like I was the person that they brought in whenever things were completely screwed. Um, and it was a really hard road for me to wrap my head around Git after the first month or two. And then I had this like aha moment one day. And once I had that aha moment, it became the obvious way that you should just do this. And um, ever since then, I've been pretty uh, active. Like at work, I'm the person that helps them resolve all the stuff. The big thing that you learn with Git is that you want small, short-lived branches for things that are going to merge into master. So um, you want to work in small little feature branches that then merge back in. But if you are going to um, work off of like a fork, so for instance, if I wanted to take what Josh is working on and then have my own fork and then just replay changes over top of it, I can
Yeah.
do that as well. That
So
just means
you have now exceeded my current ability to follow.
so the way to think of it is I can set up a copy of what Josh has, so I can track a separate fork of
Yeah.
the repo. And what I can do is I can pull from his repo into my copy automatically, like daily,
Okay.
and then I have to merge my changes back on top of that.
Got it.
So it becomes a much smoother flow as long as you keep that moving along, right? If you stop, if I stopped pulling his branches in his versions for like 6 months, and then continued to work on my own for 6 months, and then one day went, "Hey, I want Josh's stuff," and tried to pull it in, I'm probably going to be in for a lot of pain.
Yeah, not surprising. So one of the things is because I'm doing a build at a particular time, at a particular spot in time, right?
Yep.
I don't want to keep updating it.
No.
Uh,
So for that, that's what you use,
that's why
like,
I created a working copy.
yeah, and that's really easy to do. It's just you want to keep a working copy and then keep it up with what he's working on. So as an example, like you decide, hey, this is for version 2.0, and I'm going to build these, I'm making all these modifications on version 2.0. And then you decide you don't want, and here's where you have fun, right? You either say, okay, I'm now going to have a branch that is version 2.0 and all my changes, and then every once in a while I'm going to take that and move that back into master. And by doing that, I allow his stuff to continue coming forward so that when he releases version 2.1, I can then create another branch for 2.1 and then create my customization of 2.1 and do the same thing.
Got it. Well,
I'm glad you do.
it's kind of it's basically it's when you can wrap your head around it, it's real easy. But it's at this
If you,
point
yeah,
I've got multiple copies that I need to go through and clean up. And
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
happens is I need to make sure that I have everything before I delete any folders
Oh yeah,
because SolidWorks, because I wasn't paying attention, I ended up saving work in multiple folders, and SolidWorks has got all the links, so I have to go through each of the assemblies that I have and make sure that all the sub-assemblies and parts in it are pointing to a folder that I know where they are. And okay, so I just tried to open the Jubilee snapshot March 16th, and it shows as empty. When I go to it's a zip folder. I look at it. It looks. Can somebody cross check me on that?
where?
So it's the current. So if you'll go to the current Jubilee Git, go to the
Yep.
GitHub, and and now I'm looking at the trunk, not the branches. I guess I should go to now.
I look at the, I follow the trunk.
Okay, that's
So
what I was following. So trunk, frame, CAD, SolidWorks. I see the Git attributes, and I see the Jubilee snapshot March 16, 2020. And when I go to extract it, I get told that it's an empty folder.
interesting. Hold on, I have an old version of that, so let me do a pull real quick.
Okay, so I got the March 16th one. And it could be Josh just made a mistake. He is showing us asleep or offline. Well, I'm not going anywhere this weekend, so maybe if I can finish this CR10S5, I can start my build. Did you see my toolboard, Hemera Malt? I had posted some pictures a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I did.
Yesterday was a bit of a mess as far as I was concerned. I got off work around 5, but was up the previous night with an issue. And I sat down and woke up at midnight, and then just went right back to bed. And woke up at 6:30 this morning. So I even slept in. Woo! No pages or anything.
Okay, so I see the change on the zip. Hold on. How big is your zip file?
1 sec. Of course, because as soon as you said, I had just closed the trunk, frame, CAD, SolidWorks, step. It says 1 kilobyte.
Yeah, no, it should be like 150 something or 105 meg.
Okay, well, let me pull it again and see what happened.
So did you do a git pull?
I don't know what I did. Give me a sec. It's an SVN update. It says I'm at Rev 234.
See, that doesn't necessarily match up because Git doesn't use revision numbers. It uses hash.
Yeah, well, this is easy. You know what? You know how easy it is to fix this.
Delete, pull it
Delete.
back down.
Move the whole folder out to the trash. There it goes. It's all right. I do a weekly pull on Marlin, so I have a copy of Marlin locally that I can tinker with.
Yeah.
Rip out a copy of it and modify it. Running it.
Oh, so I think I told Eric, but I don't think I told you. Or it may have been the other way around. I forget who I told. I know I told one of you. I'm going to be sending some random parts out to you guys.
Yeah, you said that. All right. So this.
Oh, hey, speaking of shipping things, what did we, I don't think I ever sent you any money for shipping. But,
Just send me $20.
okay.
It was more, but whatever. It was more because I said, I'll just have you guys put it in boxes.
Got it.
So, if I actually end up doing more of these, like if I end up doing 20, it will actually be worth my time to go out to a packing company and just order straight pieces of either the right box, or you do like what Mandala Roseworks does, and you do flat sheets of cardboard, and then he uses his laser to cut them.
Yeah, I don't know what I did is I opened up the wrong copy because it's got the wrong parking wings on it. So anyway, so the new parking wings are much longer. So
Okay.
hopefully they're in there somewhere. I just have to find them.
So I'm gonna send you guys out some experimental parts. I have no clue if they're gonna be useful at all. I printed the flexures in OBC, which the way I would describe it is it's like printing in like Ninja Flex, but much higher durometer.
Okay, so it's a hard Ninja. It's a hard flex.
It's like a hard flexible.
Okay.
And it seems it is expensive to buy.
Okay.
But it literally was, I think, $70 for 750 spool.
Okay.
But a 750 spool is equivalent of about a kilogram.
Yeah, because you don't use that much of it.
Well, no, it's got a real light density.
Oh, okay.
It's a
You're saying length of the filament comes out to.
Yeah. But what's weird is you have to print it on one exact surface for bed adhesion. Nothing works.
Yep. So Git desktop. Where do you get? Is that a?
Yeah. Hold on.
Is that software you get from GitHub?
Hold on. I'll point you at it. So Git desktop is send it to you.
Okay.
Or you can also just get like Git for Windows. I like Git desktop.
Yeah.
Download those. All right.
This is what I use.
Okay.
Git
I don't do
SCM.
I don't do a lot of stuff, so there you go. This is not one I was looking at. All right.
Git SCM is the command line tools, and it isn't really a GUI client.
Okay.
Do you mean you're using GitHub desktop or Git desktop? Because isn't there a program called Git?
Yeah. So Git is the version control, and it's git-scm.com, and that's just the command line tools. But GitHub has a really nice GUI, essentially, for
Right.
Git repos.
Yeah, the GitHub desktop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I've been trying to mess around with myself. I've just started.
I will tell you, honestly, I think it's easier to learn the command line tools, and then once you understand the command line tools, then GUI clients are pie, because the reason I tell people to at least try to learn the command lines is there are things that you can't necessarily resolve in any of the GUIs very well, or the solution in the GUIs is just obtuse. The thing that bends most people's minds who are used to SVN
So
is that
this is coming from a programmer who uses it all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, the course command tools are easier.
Well,
Sorry.
the command line tools, the reason they're easier is the way that Git was built. Essentially, Git was built by Linus Torvalds over a weekend, and essentially no one but him knew how to use it for the first couple weeks.
Are we surprised by this?
And then basically people came along and started adding things on top of it to make it more palatable and easier to use. So most of the time, you spend your time up in the high-level commands like get, pull, or fetch, or clone. But then every once in a while, you end up having to fall down to do things like you can collapse. So say I've made like 10 changes to something that were tiny, and I committed them one at a time, right?
You can collapse them to a single.
I can collapse it to a single commit.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things are very useful for understanding how to do. Or as an example, Git at its core is nothing but Unix patches, essentially.
Okay.
And so understanding that basically the revision between one file, one version, and the next is literally just the patch diff, right? And you can use a thing called git bundle, which is basically just a zip file full of patches. But you can treat them like it's a remote copy.
Okay.
So it works real good for, like, say we both work in different companies and we need to work back and forth, but we don't have a shared server that we can go out to. I can, like, commit my changes, pull it into a bundle, email you the bundle, you drop it on your local drive, and then you can pull my changes from that bundle into your copy, do some work, then create your own bundle, send it back to me, and so we can just keep passing bundles back and forth.
Yeah, it's a play-by-email game.
Yeah, and that's actually essentially what it originally was meant for, is because that's how the Linux kernel team works. Linus basically has officers, or commanders who are responsible for different parts of the system, and they accept patches from people who report to them. And so it's this thing of they assemble patches and get things working, and then they pass those. And so it's this chain where they just keep passing it through, and they
Yeah.
were doing it all through email.
Oh yeah. No, it's all right. Believe me, I'm dealing with engineering who, with everything's a sprint and this and that. And it's like, guys, I don't care about the sprint. I don't care about this and that. Why can't you just deliver solid code,
Yeah.
right? They're all wrapped around these tiny little changes. It's like, that's great, but this is enterprise code. You can't release
Yeah.
garbage, right? The other thing is like we get our recursive testing group, sort of do certification, right?
Yeah.
And when a customer comes back and says, why did this take, why, we updated our kernel and now it doesn't work with the software, why is this why doesn't it doesn't work? And so it's like, let's check the simple support matrix. Hey, that version of the kernel that we shipped up typically is not on the certified list. Versions before it, versions after it are, but that version is not. So if you go to that combination using that kernel with our software, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you need to make sure that it's working. It's like, no, I don't. It's an Oracle. They're talking about an Oracle kernel too. So it's like we typically do regression test within 30 days after it hits an Oracle release hits the web, right? And if we come back, if that version of the kernel doesn't work, you don't get to just use it and then complain that it doesn't work. So that was the extent of my week so far, is dealing with people who are like, well, you have to verify that this stuff works before we do the upgrades. It's like, where are your residents? Where are your server residents, your PowerPath residents there who are supposed to be doing this work before you do upgrades? Well, it's been working in our test environment since December. It's like, so you're telling me your test environment is exactly like your production environment? Well, yes. I don't think so. What's the workload in the test environment? How many hops between the server and the storage in the test environment? 1. How many hops in the production environment? 6. That's a difference when you're talking about multi-pathing software.
Yeah.
On a fiber channel SAN. Yeah.
So, by the way, talking of data center fun stuff, did you hear about? I believe it was the Google outage happened this week.
Yeah, I heard there were some issues out on the West Coast.
They had and it was traced down evidently to a broken foot on a cabinet.
Something slipped and pulled a cable out?
No, it was on like a cold aisle.
Oh no.
And basically the rack was out of position, so it wasn't getting enough cooling. So all the CPUs in the rack were throttling.
Oh jeez.
Not enough damage to take it out, but enough to slow it down and cause a bottleneck.
Yeah. Here's some examples. The power of social distancing. One person infects 2.5 people in 5 days with no social distancing. In 30 days, 406 people are infected. Use Git LFS. Must be the first. Sure. I have no.
Good segue.
So with 50% less exposure, one person infects 2.5, or a person and 1.25 people in 30 days, only 15 people are infected. And if you do 75% less exposure, and this is just all numbers, it doesn't mean anything. Less than one person is infected, and in 30 days, only 3 people are infected. There you go.
Yeah, there was a neat thing I posted, or that was posted on Twitter today, where a guy who's a history professor took the British Journal, it's the London College Journal of Medicine, their analysis that they've done, and he basically boiled it down to common sense numbers for people, and it's pretty stark. Because
Yeah,
some
if you, what was it, something like 80 million people infected in the next 30 days?
well, the guy that I saw, he took it and turned it into just the what would it look like in the United States? And it basically came down to if you treat it just like it's the flu, then you're somewhere around 2 million people on the low side and 4 million people on the high side, depending on the number of ventilators you can scrounge up,
Well,
essentially.
you're talking fatalities. Yes.
Yeah. And so he basically sat down and did the like, hey, 80% of the population is going to get, infected. Of that 80% of the population, you know, 2% are going to die outright. Another 2% will be hospitalized, and if without the proper um, ventilators, that 2% will die. you know, so
Yeah.
he's like, and 2% of the population is this much, and we have this many ventilators. So guess how many are gonna die? you know, and he basically walks through all the numbers, and then he says, okay, well, so what if we did it like we treated H1N1 or other outbreaks of influenza, and we basically used interventionist approaches, i.e., you get sick, you go to the hospital, you get sick, you go to the doctor, and he walks through the numbers on that, and it's slightly better at like 2 million people.
Yeah.
you know. And then he's like, now and then he goes into like the social distancing approach, and he's like, so social distancing could cut it down to like 20,000 deaths nationwide.
Yeah. And that's because we can keep, if we can flatten the curve, the people who need the hospitalization can get it. Oh, by the way, did you hear the new thing that came out today?
Which one?
Group for the 25 to 35 is
Yeah,
about 3 higher than they expected.
yeah.
What's higher than they expected?
They're seeing 2 to 3 times as many young people under 35 in entering the hospital with respiratory distress than they
Yeah.
expected.
The whole thing where it was like, oh, it's old people only. They're now finding that was kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Oh no,
And,
puppy.
and part of the reason that the numbers were like a lot of that was based on the numbers coming out of like Spain, and it's because they have a lot of old people.
Holy shit. No, don't do that. That's just fucking dumb. Sorry, somebody posted a picture of 2 baskets of ice getting ready to drop into the oil at a fryer.
No.
No, that's bad. Yeah, so I like that. There's a new meme. An old meme takes on a darker tone. Our crew is replaceable. Your package isn't. Amazon. Oh, I like that. Due
What?
to due to let me see. Due to the quarantine, I'll only be telling inside jokes.
Is funny.
Can we cancel our 90-day trial of 2020? Yeah, that'd be great. Ooh, that's pretty slick. Somebody converted a side-by-side fridge freezer into a giant kegerator fermenter. Nice. Oh, that's not good. Everybody's getting laid off, so that's a problem. People are reading The Stand.
That is, yeah, that is
That's
a thing.
that's a thing.
What's funny is I've always had like a reasonable level of kind of prepping for things like this.
Well, the thing
And
is, prepping we have isn't needed for. I mean, we don't have. There isn't a food shortage. The issue is there were people that are rush and the hoarding, and hoarding, and now we're
right.
running to the supply chain trying to catch up.
Well,
Um,
and it's really hard to run warehouses when you can only have 50 people in them,
well, yeah. Let's see. I wonder what this one is. Hold on. Okay, that was at a monastery.
That's funny.
Yeah, and a warning from Italy. Yeah, they just deployed their military, transferring victims from one region to another. They're doing convoys.
Hmm.
Day 7 of quarantine. The dog is becoming a formidable component in Connect 4.
I could see that.
Yeah. Has anyone seen some of the posts about how many work hours lost due to cats?
No.
Seen some.
Oh yeah, Daniel says probably it's pretty sure it should work in the Nano or the Atomic Pi. It's just a Python thing. Does this mean drive-in movie theaters will become a thing again?
Fair point.
Yeah.
People will start talking to each other in person.
No, can't be doing that.
No, because they'll be forced to. They'll be the only ones in the room.
Yeah.
Unless my friend and my cousin were joking, they're like, look, social distancing is something I've been training for my entire life.
Pretty much. Here we go. Hey,
like,
now sports fans will know what it felt like when Firefly got kicked.
Yeah, I've seen that the other day.
Yeah, so I lost about 6% of my 401k over the last week and a half.
Yeah, I have not even looked. I don't want to look. I'm just going to close my eyes and hopefully it all shows up one day when I need it.
So I had, guess what I had vest on the 15th?
How much?
It was about 30% less than it was a year ago.
Ugh.
I had options vest on the 15th. So, yeah, it's pretty significant.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I was actually talking to somebody the other day, and a coworker of mine, and she's been at the company like 30 years roughly, and she has a ton in her 401k and a ton in stock, and she's basically like, yeah, I lost like $150,000.
Yeah, good old Eric Trump. Okay, Minnesota classifies grocery store employees as emergency workers. They get grants them free child care.
That should be cool.
Yeah. Now we're getting to see what the actual. We're going to see what the actual emergency essential services are. Okay, so
Internet.
I have. What's that?
Internet and grocery stores. Let's be honest.
And all the logistics across the board. Healthcare workers, firefighters, retail employees. Oh, geez. Got a new puppy, ugliest but laughing joke. So the baby hyena. You know about the abandoned the chicken temple, right?
Oh.
There is an abandoned chicken temple. I will have to post this. Should it go in random or the chat? Yeah, that'll be rough if I do this. It's like, where is your God now? Probably offend somebody.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
That's all right. I'm in Virginia Beach, in Hampton Roads, Virginia. I have
Yeah.
I have the Pat Robertson just literally 3 miles away. And so far he hasn't gone out to say that the coronavirus is God's punishment for us because of the gays yet. But I mean, he's already said the hurricanes are that. No, I'm not.
No, I know.
There you go. There's the the chicken temple.
So our so the biggest like mega church around here is World Harvest Church. Pastor Rod Parsley. It's so weird.
Okay. Honestly, it's not so boring being home, but it is incredible to me that one packet of rice, there are 8,976 grains, and another 8,984.
Maybe all of us with 3D printers will actually become useful.
Okay, so that company never did try to bring any kind of suit against these folks, and they're printing those valves in nylon. So if they're printing a valve in nylon, more power to you, right?
I got nylon.
Yeah, and at least nylon you can do chemical sanitation on.
Actually, OBC would be great to print that kind of stuff in.
Maybe you need I mean, you need to be non-oxygen reactive.
It's highly chemical resistant.
Okay.
It's used for like contact cases.
Well, hello. Good evening, sir. Girlfriend, why did you purchase that stupid 3D printer? Me, because, well, because Pokemon. If you have kids, you'll recognize them. Or if you are a kid, you'll recognize them. And this is why you have a 3D printer.
Where did you post?
Live stream chat.
All right. Oh, that's hilarious.
Hi, Daniel. Are you still trying to get your voice up and running? Yeah, I need to, reminds me I need to actually call my vet and see what their plans are, because my boys are all due to be at the vet at the end of the month for their annuals. Okay, so the kids are trying to teach cats calculus. I guess that might work. I mean, certainly, if if you can teach your cat calculus, you probably have a pretty solid understanding of it yourself.
True.
Okay,
True.
current repository. Where is it? Where is it in the local machine? Okay. So I cloned it. Last fetch 10 minutes ago. Current branch master. Show an Atom. Nah, I don't want Atom. I want to pick a different. I want a different. I don't want Atom. I want to use something different. Atom is pretty much being deprecated across the board. Have you noticed that?
What is?
The Atom.
As in processor?
No. The Atom, the editor.
Oh yeah. Most people are moving towards VS Code.
Yeah. Well, Atom is being deprecated across the board, so I'm just updating. All right. Open Show and Explorer. Awesome. Let's see if this thing will actually open up. Daniel, can you hear us yet? Because we can't hear you.
I don't remember. Has he talked on Discord before?
He has.
Thought I remembered that. Because I was gonna say, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but Discord tends to change your settings sometimes on what your mic input is, depending on how you have it set up and what's connected to your computer. So you might need to check his Discord settings, is what I'm getting at.
Hey, there he is. Welcome. More and more stores are saying, yeah, if you bought a bunch of stuff, you're not returning it. We are not accepting returns for
Yeah. Target.
Winco, Target, Costco, BJ's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ooh, somebody made a Bad Moon Stompa. Nice. Granted, they made a Stompa out of an AT-AT. No. Yeah.
Well, hey, I gotta hop off here so that I can spend time with the fiance.
What? You didn't
We're,
spend no with her?
no, I spent most of my day sitting in an office by myself because it takes hours to copy the 4 gig plus of Xcode down to my MacBook.
There you go. Believe.
So
Somebody got their car popped open with toilet paper, $60 a case, cash only, and they just got nabbed by the police. Good. Oh, great. If it gets real bad, you can and have to resort to cannibalism. Remember, humans first. They are the closest to grass fed.
true that.
Silly stuff. All right, never mind. Catch up with you later. Okay, so somebody's on mute.
I'm just not talking, or haven't been talking. That's what you mean.
No, Daniel's on mute.
Anybody ever figure out who the first person to have it was?
Patient zero.
Yeah.
Hard to say, but they're showing that it might be. There's some evidence based on some of the deeper testing that there were cases in the U.S. as far back as January. Hey, since we're following CDC guidelines now, how about they're also recommending vaccinating kids? Oh, this is not good. Modern day assault team attacking the Baba Yaga. Oh, that's not a good sign.
Modern day assault team attacking what?
SWAT team, special weapons attack on the Baba Yaga. Can you imagine how that's going to end? How that's going to end? You know, there's an assumption that the Baba Yaga is real, but you know, if an assault team is attacking, then yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, sorry. Russian folklore, uh, Eastern Europe. Stay home unless you want to get intubated by a psychiatrist.
Okay.
So guess what comes out tomorrow?
What's that?
Guess what's released tomorrow?
I have no idea.
Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal.
Gotcha.
I guess we lost Animal. Doom Eternal is, yeah, and there's been a lot of pretty interesting crossovers. Whoop. Still trying to get the audio to work? Because we can't hear you. Governor Abbott waives regulation over alcohol.
It doesn't really matter which side of the relay you, on the AC side, like which side you hook to the bed and which side you hook to the power supply, does it?
Hard to, well, I mean, mine's got a T and an L on it, but I don't know which model do you have. What's the model number on that?
It was the one recommended in the BOM originally.
No, I don't have the bomb.
D2, huh?
What is it? What's the number on it?
D2425. I guess maybe it does matter. Now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know.
D2425 relay, wait one. Looking at the data sheet.
Alright. Looks like it goes into 1 and the load is hooked to 2.
That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Wait one. Input 3 and 4, that's your controller.
It's more or less what I was assuming, but I just wanted to verify.
So the power supply goes into 1, and then out to the bed on 2.
Makes sense.
Hello?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know if yours. Guess you're probably saying
No, popping in and popping out.
So, what are all the stuff you're reading? What's the prediction of how long this whole social distancing thing is going to have to continue?
We will probably get 30 to 60 days, and then maybe another maybe a month of relaxed behaviors, followed
Month of what behavior?
a month of more relaxed, you know, being able to get out, do stuff, and then probably another 2 months after that.
How long till the whole, like, people not being able to work thing continues, you think?
Hard to say. Hard to say.
I didn't know if there was any predictions of, like, alright, automotive plants can start going back to work at an X and such a date.
Nothing yet.
Yeah, because that is what my work is tied to. The automotive plants go out of business long enough, could have serious repercussions on my company.
Apparently, posted bar in my neighborhood delivering entire liters of pre-mixed burritos for $25, and you get a complimentary roll of toast. Using.
Hopefully the vaccine trials go smoothly.
We'll see. I mean, let's put it this way: we really don't have any real stuff.
Don't have any real what?
So the initial testing of this vaccine, they thought, they started human trials. Well, human trials consist of 44 people who got the injection, and they have to watch them for 14 months to see if it. I mean, that's essentially where we're at as human trials. Because this definitely wasn't a vaccine development test. And even if this goes well for those people, it's another 3 to 4 months afterwards.
3 to 4 what?
3 to 4 months after the trial period completes. So, yeah, we'll see.
You'd think that if it becomes necessary, they could expedite that process in some way.
Not really. What we're waiting. The thing is, it's just literally the amount of time it takes to complete the process.
Literally the amount of time it takes to what?
The process, and the 14 months is about as fast as they can go on this, because what you're looking for is adverse effects on the patient, right? Now,
That's wouldn't do, I guess, if everybody gets the vaccine and turns into mutants.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the beginning of a science fiction movie or a disaster film. First thing we ignore all this. It's like, oh look, Jeff Goldblum. If Jeff Goldblum comes on and starts telling us to do something, we ought to pay attention. Anyway, so one of the things, it's just going to take a finite amount of time before they can do anything. However, Japan has been treating with an antiviral that they already have on the shelf, and they're finding that they're seeing some pretty positive results, and it's something that they already use to treat flus. So they're seeing improvement in lung capacity and things of that nature. So that's a good sign.
Seems like could have been something that had been looked into back when China. What?
Yeah, they've been working on it. It's just hard to see exactly where we stand on it. So there you go.
Gotcha.
You see Thingiverse got updated?
Oh, I don't look at Thingiverse that often anymore. What was it updated with?
Oh, the reason it's been so bad over the last couple of months, last month or so. Hello.
Hey.
Completely redoing the back end, so it's got a new, and the performance is looking pretty good. They're also showing ads now for it, trying to monetize it a little bit. How's it going?
Hi. How are you guys?
What's the new printer?
I printed 2 parts today. Oh, not today. 1 part today. It's not bad. Like, I got the print out perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. How are you guys doing?
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is my mic good enough today?
No, your mic's great.
Oh, thank God. Yay. So,
What'd you say?
it
No, I'm
had
just
some
kidding.
settings that was bad.
Yeah.
I called my friend and then I kind of tweaked the settings while I was talking to him. So, fixed
Okay.
it. Yay. So, I'm looking to print a fan shroud. Fan duct to my printer,
Okay.
actually. You were right. Chup is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a pretty solid.
yeah.
What's really good?
Chuck Hellebuck. Filament Friday.
And he's not annoying.
And
I've seen some people, he's really annoying.
who is?
I feel teaching tech is annoying for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He goes too fast.
Oh,
I just can't follow. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he is a teacher too, which is kind of amusing.
Oh, I
He's
didn't know that.
middle school and elementary.
Who?
Michael from Teaching Tech.
Oh. I don't know. It might be that he's reducing the length of video.
Yeah, he's running short videos. And that's part of the algorithm.
Yeah.
Having
So
to, and YouTube is unfortunately driving that.
so it was not his mistake then. Oh.
Well, it's because it's driving it in the sense that he has to make the videos of a certain length, otherwise they don't get put out there.
Oh.
So yeah, if your videos are too long, YouTube doesn't recommend them or doesn't share them and things like that.
Interesting.
Everybody is looking out the windows. Why is everybody looking out? What is out? What is
I
outside?
mean,
I feel like YouTube's sweet spot is about 10 minutes. Seems to be where everybody tries to make their videos.
More than 10 minutes, start getting ads in the middle of your video. If you keep it under 10 minutes, you can get by with no ads.
Okay. So then it was not him then. I was thought him wrong. So well, the content he put out is good. I used his 25-point bed leveling.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I got my bed level now, and after that I went to Chip's video.
25 point? Is that with an automatic probe?
Marlin had this manual mesh bed leveling.
Yep.
So I enabled that one. I didn't know where to change 25 to 9 because they moved around some things.
You did a 25 point manual bed level?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was pretty patient, but the thing is, we don't have to adjust the knobs in that. We can use the dial to adjust Z height for each point.
Oh no, I know what manual bed leveling was. I did that years ago.
Okay.
But
My bad. Okay.
but 9 points was fine, but I would lose my mind trying to do a 20 whatever point bed level you just said.
I was pretty patient.
What's wrong with 9? You couldn't get a good enough mesh with 9?
No, I didn't find a place to change it to 9. I don't know.
Oh, it's in the firmware.
It's in the firmware.
So configuration file, configuration.h, I searched the whole file for 25, number 25. I didn't find it.
You're going to find it's going to be 5 points on a side. Hold on.
Oh.
Firmware.
Well, you'll be happy all the way up until the point where you realize that you got to rerun the mesh.
When I got to the center, I was like, okay, I'm half the way there. half
Yeah.
more. I was excited
You can
when.
also you can go to, well, that's automatic. Oh, G29 index S number.
Mm,
So say you did, if you wanted to do like a G29 S3, you'll get a 3x3.
oh,
So I have a question, Brian.
Yeah,
Since you seem to know a little bit about this stuff, why
I
is
know.
it, huh?
I know how to Google.
Well, fair enough, but I can Google this later, I suppose. But why does it take, what did you say? You said it was 14 months to develop a vaccine?
Well,
Well,
it's closer to 12 to 18 months. So one of the things you do when you
well,
start.
that's just, hold on, let me finish asking the question before you launch into something.
Okay.
My question is, why is it that when a new flu comes out, they seem to have a vaccine practically before it even becomes a thing?
So the flu vaccine, your flu shot that you get every year, and I'm
Right.
assuming you get, um, actually what it is, it's 4 strains of flu that they're guessing are going to be the most prevalent. And they've been working on that. So you get your flu shot in September, October, right?
Sure.
They've been working on that vaccine since January. And the common flus that we've been getting, they're out there. We know they're out there looking for the strains that are the expected strains for the following year. And they look at that based on the previous 2 years or 3 years worth of actual flu outbreaks. So remember, sometimes some years we have it really bad where it gets worse than expected, right? Where everybody seems to be getting sick and they're staying sick longer and things like that. Where you get years like that. Well, that happens when they missed, when the flu shot, um, when they don't get the right particular strain in the flu shot, and then it starts running through the population. So the reason we want everybody and get it early, and I say early like 4 November kind of thing, because it takes about 6 weeks after you get it before your immunology, before it becomes effective. All right. And anybody who says, well, the flu shot made me sick, it's like, well, it didn't. What it did is you started having a immunology response where your body started building a resistance to it. And you might have some soreness at the injection site, but that's an injection site. But yeah, the reason why you want everybody to go early is because it takes about between 6 and 10 weeks, depending on the person, before the resistance, before it's really effective. And so, when you get your flu shot, typically it'll say like a quad or something like that on it, which means they picked the top 4 most likely strains, and it's also regional too. So a flu shot for the southeastern United States may not have the same strains as the flu shot in the Midwest. Okay? So, but the idea is that if everybody gets it, it's going to play that herd immunity thing going there and help reduce the numbers and the rate of infection in the area. So, and it's something that, the strains don't change that much year to year. But if they get the wrong one and another strain is introduced, if that's too far off from what you got, then you're not going to have a resistance to it. The population isn't going to have a resistance to it, and then it just races through the entire population.
So where does the flu
and your
actually?
typical influenzas, um, for the most part, have a much lower R naught value than this COVID-19. R naught being the transmission rate, the infection rate. So the rate of infection for your typical influenza is much lower than the infection rate for this COVID-19. And then the other things you're running into are how long before symptoms present, how long you're infectious or shedding the virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So COVID-19, you can have up to, they're saying 14 or more days after you have been exposed and infected. And during most of that time, you're spreading the virus. You're actively shedding. So surfaces that if you touch your face or droplets, you sneeze or cough, even exhalations can carry some, and that can be transmitted to others. So some of the conservative, some of the really conservative numbers are in a population that has no resistance. The number of cases, without social distancing, the number of cases can double every 5 days. And at that point, you're looking at exponential. And even if you've got a fraction of the cases that lead to fatalities, and it's not really the leading to fatalities directly that we're worried about right now, it's the rapid increase in the number of cases and the number of cases that require hospitalization and medical intervention. And as long as the number of cases are lower than the number of hospital beds and ventilators, the medical gear that we have, we can kind of control it. But for example, once it starts exceeding that, then they have to start doing triage. Which means we got the doctors and the ERs making decisions who gets treated and who doesn't. So, and that's a condition we don't want to reach.
Right.
So this shelter in place and this social distancing is all about reducing the rate of the spread of the infection, reducing the infection rate in the population.
Right.
And spreading out the number of cases so they're not hitting the hospitals all at once.
Yeah, that part I understood. I was just
can't even use the number of new infections because our testing regime is so bad. We don't know what's out there. Does that make sense?
The cases in Michigan, because they got better testing.
Why does it take so long to get a new vaccine? Because first of all, you have to make sure that the vaccine is actually effective against that. The antibodies are being that work with the COVID-19. So that's 6 or more weeks after that. But then you also have to look at to make sure that the vaccine doesn't trigger other damaging actions within the host, right, within the patient.
Right.
And then once the vaccine is tested and approved, and if they get it right the first time, I will be surprised. But if they get it right the first time, then hooray. It's going to take 3 to 4 months to produce the billions of doses that are going to be used. And like I said, the Japanese treating some patients with some antivirals that they have for other influenzas or other corona-type viruses. However, they are seeing some positive results with these antivirals. And it could be just a matter of, they don't know the exact mechanism, but they're seeing some improvement in lung capacity and what. And that's what the real concern is here, because this attacks the lungs and the liver. And as it does damage to the lungs, you start getting lesions and hardening of the different lobes of the lungs, which causes respiratory distress. So if you've already got some kind of COPD or emphysema or other respiratory illness, this is going to cause real trouble. A friend of mine, I've got a couple of friends who definitely have been tested positive, I haven't had any contact with them. State, they're in isolation, and they're relatively mild cases at this point, so we're pretty lucky. But yeah.
What are the mild symptoms?
For them.
Main
okay,
symptoms.
Looks like the SolidWorks version I have will open this up. This is good.
Mild symptoms?
No, you said what are the main symptoms?
The
right?
Mild symptoms.
Oh.
And Josh has got part numbers on everything, so we know what it is.
What I meant was mild symptoms.
And he's added that the cable clamp back into the model that you discovered while you're doing your build for the tool lock. And you're muted. No, you're not muted.
No, I was listening.
I see you heat shrinking things.
Yeah, my heat shrink is...
And I've been talking and nobody's listening.
No, I've been listening to you the whole time. Do you not hear me?
Right. There we go.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Brian?
This was grilling and the slidey toes, gyre and gimbal.
Brian, can you hear me?
Oh, not sure. You can hear me, right? Eric?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Nope. Can't hear a word. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect.
Okay.
I did not hit delete enough.
Okay, I found some cool fan ducts.
Just so you know, just because it looks like it will be really good at cooling a print doesn't actually mean the air flows through it like you think it's going to. It's a little goofy how air works through the fan ducts. So.
Okay.
It might work just fine, and you might find that a design that you thought would, like, intuitively you think, oh, that must work great. You'll find out that air doesn't actually flow through it anything like you anticipated.
Okay.
Not saying you shouldn't try them out or something. I'm just giving you a reality check with that it's might not work. I have no idea what you're looking at, but
I was actually looking at teaching tech's test. So what he does is he prints out bunch of ducts and then he uses water at the bottom and turns on this fan to see how the airflow is.
I guess that should give you somewhat of a reasonable approximation.
Yeah. So
Better than nothing.
shows, yeah, better than nothing, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to do big print now, so I'm using the one that came with the printer. I think that's about less than a half pound. I don't know how much that comes with, half kg or 250.
What's 2 kg?
So the printer came with a little pack of filament.
You have a, okay. I thought you were trying to say that the fan duct was a half a pound. I'm like, that would be crazy.
No. No. Yeah. So my first calibration cube, I sent you the